If you look at the New Testament, all the books are written by the apostles or by the apostles' associates. So people that walked intimately with the apostles and recorded things for them. So it came from the people that spent time with Jesus. And they were written to specific people, specific places, and specific times. Let's say that you were a disciple in the church in Rome. And maybe Priscilla and Aquila studied the Bible with you, and you're a Roman, you're studying the Bible there. You can't get on James and John's YouTube channel. You can't go look up the Jerusalem Church of Christ podcasts, but you want to hear the other apostles. So you hear about Paul writing a letter to the church in Philippi. Oh, the apostle Paul wrote something to Philippi. We got to send somebody. But when we send someone, why don't we give them what we got? And so they would take their leading scholar and they would copy down the Gospel of Mark. And they would take that with them. They would go to Philippi, and then they would give the Philippian church that copy of Mark. And then they would take this letter to the Philippians that Paul wrote, and they would copy that down. And then they would take that back to Rome. And so then after that journey, then the church in Rome would have the book of Mark and the book of Philippians, and then the church in Philippi would have the book of Mark and the book of Philippians. You guys following me? Now, continuing from there, then the church in Corinth goes, oh man, I heard Philippi just got this Gospel of Mark, and man, they just got something from Paul. We got 2 of Paul's letters too. We got 1st and 2nd Corinthians that was written to the church in Corinth. So why don't we make copies of those, and then we'll take them up to Philippi. We'll all make copies of our different letters so that we can all share that. And then after that journey, then the church in Philippi and the church in Corinth will each have those 4 books or those 4 letters. You guys following? So this was actively happening like concurrently with the writings. Like this just happened organically because the disciples wanted to hear from the apostles. They wanted to hear from the people that were with Jesus. And so actually this was happening in just a couple generations in the 100s. So all the New Testament was written in that 1st century before 100 AD, right? By the end of the 100s, that 2nd century, they were already using terms like the New Testament or the New Covenant, and all the books were already basically compiled, except maybe like Revelation, and they were circling amongst the churches. Now, it wasn't until, what you might have heard like in other times, it wasn't until the 300s that an official council came together and put a rubber stamp on, like this is what we're going to consider the Bible officially, but that it had already been viewed that way for about 200 years.